Dave, founder of Halloween Around, and today I'm talking about Ick, a new sci-fi horror campy comedy that got released through Fathom Events. So it was limited release. I'm glad I got a chance to see it, and that I liked way more than I thought I would. Let's talk about Ick.
It consumes. Run!
I went into this with zero expectation. I saw a teaser months ago, and I was on my Regal app. I'm like, oh, new horror movie. I got to check that out. So I went in not really knowing what to expect at all. And what I got was just this chaotic, frenetic ADHD movie that is a love letter to my millennial generation and our music, but also a fun horror sci-fi space monster blob movie that does a lot of really interesting things. So we open with a prologue that you can tell director Joseph Quinn came from music videos, and it shows. It's very fast paced, it's very chaotic. The prologue almost gives you a headache, but it conveys a lot of information really, really quickly in music video fashion, which normally I use music video editing as an insult. But I think coming from a guy who's directed countless music videos, it works to his advantage. And a lot of indie horror movies are not very well shot. They don't have the equipment, they don't have the budget, they don't have the experience. This director does. So we follow our main character, played by Brandon Routh, famously Superman from Superman Returns, who I feel like I haven't seen in anything since Superman Returns. I'm told he was in Scott Pilgrim, but I haven't actually watched that movie since, well, the year it came out, and I honestly don't remember him being in it whatsoever. And it turns out he's not the only Kryptonian here. The other co-lead, Lena Weissman, who you will probably most recognize as Violet from the Netflix Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events. She was young Kara in the Supergirl TV show. So we have not one, but two Kryptonians in lead roles. So our lead character, who I'm just going to call him Brandon Routh, maybe I'll call him Superman. We'll see. He had his dreams crushed. He was a star quarterback. He was going to go places, but an injury held him back, got him stuck in his town. And now, 20 odd years later, he's a science teacher at the high school. All the while, this weird alien vine stuff called the Ick is just growing, and people kind of just ignore it until it's too late to ignore. And even then, not everyone agrees on what to do with it. There's an obvious metaphor that the Ick represents insert whatever issue, the Ick represents COVID. The Ick represents climate change. The Ick represents societal collapse, whatever, where some people want to ignore it. Some people think it's a good thing. Some people, and no one can agree. No, the Ick's a conspiracy. No, it's this. Is no. Why should we live in fear? No, we got to be cautious of it. And there's just so much noise, and it feels like in modern society, with all the noise out there, kind of feels like Ick. And this movie finds a creative metaphor, to portray that in the form of, a movie that borrows heavily from The Faculty and the Blob of which is even featured in the movie as characters are watching it. So I don't want to say it portrays generational warfare, but it does. The main character is a millennial surrounded by Gen Z, and he's feeling old and out of touch, like myself. I was in high school in the mid 2000s when this character, Brandon Routh was. I felt that way too, where, I hear a new slang term at work from a younger coworker. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yes, it will happen to you.
You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
And there's jabs between both. It's not just one picking on the other. There are jokes about cancel culture and whether you can say this or this and appropriation, and it never feels though like it's necessarily left versus right. it feels more like it's just millennials versus Gen Z. And even though the story is being told from that millennial perspective, and there's a healthy amount of Gen Z bashing, there's also millennial bashing at the hands of the Gen Z, where it's like, "Oh, you're old, you're creepy, you're pathetic. Why didn't you just think of this? Why didn't you just Oh, yeah, I should have thought of that. I should have done that." So, it kinda goes both ways, and it was when I first heard those jokes, I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna they're either gonna fail miserably at this or do it perfectly." And they kinda somehow strike the middle where it feels both inconsequential but very relevant, and if that's weird and paradoxical, it just kind of is. Imagine being in my head. We gotta talk about the needle drops too. This is again, it's a love letter to the mid 2000s and being young back then. I heard songs I haven't listened to in over 15 years, and I feel like they probably spent half the budget just licensing these songs, which include but are not limited to Vindicated, Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous, The Reason, Teenage Dirtbag, Swing Swing, The Red, Hey There Delilah, Fall for You, Stacy's Mom, and even Creed. They got Creed in there, and it's even a punchline. So they caught me with that. It warmed my heart. But what really won me over was not the movie catching my heart with nostalgia baiting. It was the immense amount of heart that this movie has, because amidst all the silliness, amidst all the jokes, amidst all the campy sci-fi alien horror monster, whatever, in spite of all that, Ick has an enormous amount of heart about finding one's family and realizing what really matters in life. And I was not prepared for it to go that hard with that. And for me to come away with it being like, that was silly and campy and entertaining, but it meant something. I liked it way more than I thought I would. To be fair, like I said, I went in with zero expectations. And it's one I'm probably gonna remember. I mean, it's a little early to say, top 10 lists and all that, but it's up there. It's one that I thoroughly enjoyed it, and, I hope you did too. Let me know in the comments, did you have a chance to see Ick? Am I out of my element here? Am I the old out of touch millennial? Did you Gen Z fans absolutely hate it? Please let me know. It's what YouTube is for. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up stuck in a town where this Ick stuff is taking over and where the military comes to save you, but the town people are so stupid they don't accept the help, and then the military just says screw it and abandons you. And as always, every day is Halloween.